Hello, you're tuning into Media Soundwave. My name is Heather Cassidy and today we are joined by Omar Rahim. Thank you for joining us again.
No, very welcome.
If you didn't see the last episode that we did with Omar, we covered what is cryptocurrency. So if you are completely new to cryptocurrency and you haven't yet started, please go back and watch that episode first and see all the basics on how to begin. Today we are going to cover how to trade cryptocurrency and basically how do we make some money from it? Because that's what everybody wants to know, isn't it?
Absolutely, that's the biggest question that we get asked. And the first thing I say, I always caveat everything by saying, first of all, never trade more than you can afford to lose. Assuming you're in the trade once, the two things that will really destroy a good trading strategy are fear and greed.
Yes.
So what I would always say is that if you've got a losing trade, don't become emotionally attached to a trade.
So if you can see your money going down, don't become emotionally attached. What would you do in those instances?
So if you still believe in the coin, so you'll get massive swings in cryptocurrency. So seeing red on the screen is not a bad thing. If you fundamentally believe in the project, it is worth holding.
And you think it will start rising again, then it is likely to.
Absolutely, absolutely.
As long as you've done your research and got into the right currencies to start with.
Yeah, exactly. And on the flip side, on the upside, if your coin is up 10 times your investment, it's worth thinking about taking some of that money out of the market because it can't go up in a straight line forever. So, we're growing up with a generation of what I would call retail traders who are measuring their returns in X rather than in percent. And this is unprecedented in the history of sort of financial
It's not
access.
what the usual trading was done by.
If you even a year ago, if you were trading stocks or trading currencies, you'd measure your gains in percentage. If you were up 30 or 40%, it would be phenomenal. Now, you can get that kind of a move in a day.
How do you work that out though?
So depending on your entry point on a coin, so let's say you buy a coin at 1 cent. So all of a sudden, it's not unusual for your coin to go up to 6 cents within a week or a month. So you've made 5 or 6 times your money back. That's quite normal. So what I would always suggest is scaling out of your position. So you can start with any amount. You can start with £10, £50, £10,000, whatever it is. But once your coin is up a certain amount, it's worth taking some money out of the market on the way up. So take your initial investment out. Yeah, it's a great way to de-risk yourself. So
at what point would you do that? So say if you'd put in £1,000 or $1,000 or whatever your currency was, if you'd then gone up to 1,500, 2,000, 5,000, at what point would you suggest would be a good time to take it out?
Yeah, it really depends on your attitude to risk. So if I put £1,000 in a coin, the portfolio is now worth £4,000. I'd start to think, okay, well, I'm up now £3,000. What I might do is I might take my £1,000 back out of the market.
So everything else is kind of play money. It's not because it is your money and you could take it all at that point, but it's not a risk anymore because it wasn't something you had to start with.
Yes, yeah, and it's all upside, and because of the timing is absolutely crucial because I reiterate that we're at a time in history that's probably unprecedented in terms of the democratization of investment. So this is not going to last forever. So these returns are perhaps unsustainable. One of the things I get asked quite a lot is, are we in a bubble? I always say the same thing, that it doesn't matter whether we're in a bubble or not. The opportunities are there.
At the moment in time.
Exactly. And the time to take advantage of them is now with a sensible strategy.
Nobody knows how much things are going to go to though, but to look at it from a risk evaluation point of view, if you look at the market cap, how would you do the calculations to know sort of where is it going to go and what could be its maximum potential? Yeah, so coins can rise for a number of different reasons. So sometimes it's because the supply is limited, like Bitcoin. There's only 21 million coins ever created, lots have been lost, 1 million are locked up. So there's a limited supply of something. So where you've got a limited supply, naturally supply and demand economics come into play, and the value of that coin has increased because of that limited supply. Other coins, they don't have a cap on their supply, and the value is increasing because of psychology. I think people forget that behind numbers you've got traders or investors, and the psychology of the market is crucial, and it's what I always say, go on Twitter, do your research, go on the forums and see what the psychology of that particular coin is, because if there's a lot of hype around a coin, if there's a lot of publicity and marketing going on at that time. Yeah,
is the coin rising because there's a lot of PR behind it, or is it rising because the technology is strong? It could be both. So
what are kind of things that make it go up? So obviously, if you've seen lots of people talking about things on social media, that will obviously make things go up. But actually, what genuine things make it go up? Like new exchanges, what kind of things make the money go up?
So the coin has to have a use. So if the team have signed partnerships that suggests that the use is going to be more widespread, Those are the kind of things that will really boost a coin's value. So for example, a lot of cryptocurrencies have done deals with banks or big real estate companies, which
and then that puts more worth into it.
Exactly, it suggests that the take-up of the coin is going to be more widespread, therefore more people are going to buy it, therefore the value goes up.
So partnerships are one thing. What else could you think of that might make it increase?
Yeah, so it could be that the industry is really getting behind one particular technology as opposed to the other.
So say if it was going down the healthcare route or social change or currency, it can go in all the different areas.
Absolutely. So if you look at a sector and the industry participants or the dominant companies in an industry are starting to look at cryptocurrencies, it's probably because there's something in it. So it's worth keeping an eye on what the industry is doing as well. What
about ease of buying though? So say if something becomes available on more exchanges so more people can buy it,
yes,
will that make it increase, or the use of wallets and different functionalities with wallets? Does this all play a part?
Ease of use and being good at marketing. So
a marketing team makes a difference.
There is, but I think investors have to be really careful because a lot of coins that I see out there their value is incredibly high based on their PR alone. And the fundamental technology is not solid behind it. So, investors need to tread with caution.
There'll become a day where it might actually start showing the cracks that are there.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what else are your top tips for today then when making money? So we looked at taking out your initial investment once you've hit, do you reckon setting targets of where you want something to get to and thinking, this is where I want it to go?
So the number one thing I'd advise investors is set what I call a risk-reward ratio. So if you enter a trade, you should know you should automatically know before you go into that trade what the maximum point is on the downside that you're going to get out of that coin, and what the potential upside target is.
So as a trader, what would you recommend as a percentage to take it to?
So in the traditional world, we'd use maybe a risk-reward ratio of at least 1 to 3. Meaning, if I lost 1, I'm looking for 3 on the upside. So if my token goes down by 1, then I'm going to get out of that trade.
Okay.
If it goes up by 3, I'll also think about taking some money out of the
Taking
table.
some money out and taking your money. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. If you have any questions about cryptocurrency or there's any facts and figures you'd like to know how to do your own research with, please get in touch and send any questions over to us either on Twitter, we do use Twitter @MediaSoundwave, or send it over to hello@mediasoundwave.co.uk, and we can start putting questions like that to Omar and other people in the future and try and get all your questions answered. Hopefully you found some useful information in today's show. Again, as I said before, if you've not watched the first episode of this series, go back and watch What is Cryptocurrency. Thank you, Omar. Good luck with Energy Token. Head over to the website, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done already, and we'll see you here in Manchester next time on Media Soundwave.